Today we're going to talk about countries that have yet to win a Miss Universe crown, but should. My name's Dani Walker, welcome to the channel. If you like content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit those notifications. In today's episode, we're going to go from the countries that have had the least amount of placements to the most amount of placements and talk all about it and why I think that maybe they haven't won or what they could do to win in the future. Haiti is the first country we're talking about today. They have had 3 Miss Universe placements in the history of them competing. Their placements were in 1962, 1975, and most recently in 2016. Miss Universe Haiti 2016, Raquel was first runner-up to Iris from France. Raquel was somebody who had a lot of hype built up around her, but it was well-deserved hype for Miss Universe. Look at her with her first runner-up placement. But since then, I really feel like we haven't seen a Miss Haiti that a lot of people have come behind, a lot of people have noticed. The last one that I think some people were posting about was in 2019, and frankly, she was one of my favorites. Watch my predictions. I loved her. And I will say this though about her gown. I didn't love it at Universe. It initially reminded me of this one long sleeve Sherry Hill gown, and that's what I thought she was wearing when she walked out. And then as she got closer, I realized, oh, that's a different gown. It looks custom. So I really liked her. I thought that there was a chance for a placement, but we did not see that happen, unfortunately, for them. Since 2016, I really feel like they've just lost momentum in all aspects. I think that the hair, the makeup, the wardrobe, the styling, the onstage performances, the choreography, everything can be improved. It's not like, okay, these girls have been so great in gown and then, oh man, what's happening in their interview? You know, I'm not seeing a specific area that I can identify. So when I look at their performances collectively since 2016, I think just everything needs to come back up to speed. Next is Vietnam. If you watch the channel, you will know that I talk about Vietnam a lot, not just for Universe, but for other organizations as well. Actually, Miss Vietnam just won the Grand International title this year. I was so excited for her, great contestant. Now, they have had 5 Miss Universe placements, and most recently this was in 2021. They placed in the top 16, and that year there was only a top 16. There was no top 20, so it's a smaller group of talent, and it says something to even place in the top 16. Now in 2018, one of my personal favorite Miss Vietnams was in the top 5, but I'm gonna say this, guys, I was at that pageant in 2018. I was blown away, and for me, it may be the most competitive year at Miss Universe in the last decade, at least. I mean, I would have to sit and evaluate, but it was an exceptional year. And from the audience, I could clearly see that. So for Vietnam to be in top 5 in 2018 is a really big deal. Now in 2020, they won the fan vote. So our Miss Vietnam got voted in to the semifinalist cut, and I think that that is important to mention because when a country supports their title holders, they tend to have a lot more resources and opportunities, and we've seen that. I think we've seen that. I think that when we look at their preparation, their wardrobe, their hair, their makeup, they are preparing their queens in a similar way that we see countries like Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia prepare their countries. It's all encompassing and great preparation. But I think something that a lot of people talk about for Universe specifically is the ability to be fluent in English or nearly fluent. And a lot of times when I look at the contestant videos for Vietnam in recent years, they don't speak in English in their videos. It's translated, even though many of them do speak English. And I feel like even making that small shift in the videos could be important to let the Miss Universe organization know, like, you know, hey, here's where my English is at. Because if you are Miss Universe, you're going to speak English a lot at a lot of events, and it's going to be improving throughout the year anyways. It's amazing what immersion can do for language skills. So for me, it's not a big deal at all. Frankly, I don't think that speaking English has to be a dead set rule. I don't think that it is, because they accept contestants who don't speak English. So really that shouldn't be a rule, right? Unless you tell everybody from the start you have to speak English. But a lot of people in the pageant community believe it is something that prevents a lot of contestants from moving forward. And so I'm kind of wondering, has that prevented a Miss Vietnam from advancing? Let me know what you think in the comments though. Give me your thoughts. Great Britain has had 5 placements, and the most recent was in 2021, and she really surprised a lot of people, although I noticed her and I had her in some preliminary recaps. And then in 2013, they were top 10, and oh my gosh, what a goddess. Wow. Okay, Miss Universe Great Britain 2013 is just iconic. She's iconic. Everybody talks about her. Everybody wants wants her finals gown, right? Everybody would love that gown. And then in 2020, they were also in the top 21, and that I'd say was a surprise for a lot of people as well. But I wasn't surprised because she had a great story, and since the era of IMG, we've seen how important stories and branding and video packages are to them. And I looked at her and thought, this queen is marketable. She was a singer and a businesswoman. I was like, they're gonna be all over it. So I also saw her put a lot of work into prep, though. I was paying attention to that. I'm not just saying she only placed from her story. Yeah, that doesn't fly either. But I do think that the wardrobe, the hair, the makeup could have been so much better for Miss Universe. I'm also gonna mention 2013's queen. I didn't even think that she had a strong preliminary performance, and I personally didn't love the gown. Granted, it was 2013, so gown styles were quite a bit different. Maybe it came across different back then. But regardless of her prelim performance for gown, when she came out during finals, it vastly improved. But I did still think there were ways to make the finals even better than it was. Now, this was in 2013 when Venezuela won. And let me just say that when Gabriela won her national title, for me, I was like, I think Venezuela's winning. I just had that feeling. And then the moment that she arrived, the moment she touched down for this competition, it just really solidified that. And she reminds me a lot, or I guess I should say Catriona reminds me a lot of her in terms of how great she looked at Miss Universe. With all the outfits, all the preparation. To me, Gabriela, though, was the one to beat, just like Catriona was, and look what happened. They both ended up winning that crown. Now, I will say about Great Britain's performance that this most recent year, I really thought that the styling and the hair and the makeup and the wardrobe was as close as we've been recently, with the exception of 2013, to really, really great Miss Universe style of styling. And so I think it was good. I think we can get better. I think it could be even better next year. So they gotta stay on that track and they gotta keep investing into that. Ukraine has had 6 placements. 6 placements. And I feel like we've really forgotten about them in recent years. In 2011, they placed as first runner-up. In 2013, they were in the top 10, and then second runner-up in 2014. And oh my gosh, Diana's gown in 2014, the styling on this, I believe that the gown was by Zuhair Murad. I'm pretty sure, and if I'm wrong, I'm sure people are gonna correct me in the comments. The styling this year, though, that gown with the silver heels and the high bun with the middle part, which by the way now everybody does, and it was truly just ahead of its time. It was iconic. It was one of those iconic looks that I think a lot of contestants look back at and even try to draw inspiration from. In 2016, we actually saw something that I think is similar styling, a ball gown look, the hair up in the bun, very beautiful, very elegant. And what I really want to draw attention to, though, is what I'm feeling for this country is that this is their look. This is what they're good at. They know how to put together a ball gown with a bun, okay? And the thing about this is that you really gotta stay up to date and stay fresh and take into consideration what's gonna work best for each contestant. And I think that when they've styled their contestants, that the best ones in terms of styling have been our two with the ball gown and the bun. And then the rest of them, it's a very, very different look for each of them. There is no consistency, and I'm not saying you have to necessarily have consistency, but what you should be consistent in is wardrobe that looks appropriate for the system that you're in. I think that they need more consistency with the wardrobe, hair, makeup, and styling, because it's like when they're on, but when they're off, it's done. There's no shot. So that's something that they're gonna have to really be looking into. Let me know in the comments, who is your favorite country that hasn't won a Miss Universe title yet? Czech Republic has had 6 replacements. Here's another country that I just really feel like we have forgotten about. And the one queen that I really am gonna focus in on this, because I was like, okay, in recent years, this is where I feel like they were on the right track, getting it right. That was the 2020 title holder. Oh my gosh, she caught my eye. Some of you talked about her in my preliminary episodes, and I can't remember if she was in my favorites for 2020 at all, but I will say that I wasn't really surprised that she didn't advance. For me, she wasn't somebody that I thought 100% she's gonna make it into that semifinal, because there were a lot of great contestants. But if you look at this hair, the makeup, the styling, I feel like if another country with a really big sash factor had come out in this look, people would have taken notice. They really would have taken notice. And The gown itself, the style of it reminded me a lot of things that we would see now that Miss USA is wearing by Michael Cinco or Zaid Nakad that has dressed Miss France in the past. It was giving me those type of vibes. I think it was incredible. I think it was absolutely incredible. As I said, there were 6 placements, but the last time that they placed was in 2010. Guys, that was a while ago. A lot has changed. First of all, new organization. Second of all, styling, wardrobe, hair and makeup, trends, all of those things. That's going to affect. And so I feel like they just haven't caught up until I saw their 2020 title holder. So now I'm like, okay, let's stay consistent on that type of wardrobe. Let's stay consistent on that look. And then let's really go all in with the interview prep and finding the contestant that's gonna have those public speaking abilities. Because you're not just a face for Universe, you are a voice of the organization. You're a brand ambassador. And I feel like that maybe is what they could be missing. It's the sauce. Costa Rica is blowing my mind. They have had 6 placements at Miss Universe. The highest though that they've placed, when I was looking back, I was actually surprised. And I actually may be wrong. Maybe I am. I hope that I'm wrong. They only placed in the top 10. And I mean, I say only because we're talking about placements. It's still a great accomplishment. Their last top 10 placement was by Yvonne in 2020. Gorgeous title holder. I mean, the quality of that queen. And so when I see contestants like her, and then I look back at several years of their title holders, I feel like there's so many inconsistencies in the wardrobe, the hair, the makeup, the styling. It's up, it's down, it's right, it's left. It's just, for me, not very consistent versus you look at a country like Venezuela, right? And they're sending different girls, but there's a good level of consistency in their wardrobe, their hair, their makeup. And also, I think style. You can tell that it's like, that's a Venezuelan queen. But when I look at Costa Rica, I'm really curious, and I really don't know. What has been the difference between Yvonne's year and everybody else? Whatever that was, they need to bring back. Who was responsible for this? Who was that team that was prepping her and putting her together? Because that's what y'all need in the future. If you found my channel because you are a pageant contestant preparing for your competition, then check out my free pageant prep course that's linked in the description. Curaçao has had 7 placements. 7 placements! Incredible. The last was in 2021, and that was Chantal. And by the way, she is gorgeous. We met up in Miami for a trip. If you guys haven't seen it, go check the vlog. I'm telling you, when I saw her in person, she is just towers over me and is just as beautiful in person, if not more, than she is on screen. Just amazing. Just threw that out there. Now, they were first runner-up in 1968, and that's the closest we've been, right? Can't get much closer than first runner up. And I feel like when their it's interesting. When I feel that their contestants are dressed very well. So 2020 would be one example. 2018, one of my favorites. They placed top 10 there. Whenever they are very, very well dressed, I'm not sure why this is, but they put their hair in a bun. And I don't know if that's the best styling option for their queens. Sometimes you can win in a bun for sure, but you are actually more likely within the last decade to win with your hair down or with natural hair. Zosie is the exception, winning in short natural hair. So it's just interesting to think about when I look at their wardrobe and their styling, and I just wonder if the bun is the best styling choice for them, or if we made some changes. And also, you got to stay consistent with the gown quality too, because I feel like there's been consistencies, but their last 2 recent placements, 2018 and 2020, I thought great, fantastic. And then every other year when I saw the wardrobe, I was like, I'm not so sure that was the best choice. So it's like when they're on their game, when they have the great wardrobe, are they going to continue to put the queens in a bun? I don't know if that's the best option. Indonesia, should be no surprise about this, but they've had 8 placements. 8 placements. Now, they didn't compete in 2021, so we're going to look back a little bit on 2020 when IU was in the top 21. Frankly, I loved that swimsuit performance. She's a model that showed, for me, it was what I would quote unquote look for in terms of choreography, posing, facials, the quality of the walk for a Miss Universe performance. If I had been judging, she probably would have advanced to the top 10. We didn't see that. We also didn't get to see her reveal her finals gown. I mean, I talked about it in other episodes of unseen gowns. You can check it out. It was gorgeous. Now, people really have been supportive of Indonesia, and that's another thing I've said. I think that is really, really important. And in 2019, they placed in, once again, the top 10, but didn't move on to the top 5. And it was interesting to me because I was in the audience, and when Frederica walked out, the audience went crazy. Her gown in person was 1,000 times better than it looked on camera. And with the energy of the audience and with how spectacular she looked, I was thinking, okay, Indonesia, moving into that top 5. Didn't happen. Here's the thing. I went back and I watched the performance on the camera, and I thought that the camera angles in 2019 were very strange. It was hard. They were hard to follow them, and it just wasn't the best angles. I'm not a fan. And when I looked back at that performance, she missed a lot of quality eye contact. And that is important because during finals night, the judges are watching you out of their little screen. So they are seeing basically the telecast version, not just that live version. So that is going to affect your score. And I really think that that is what happened, but I'm expecting a lot from them soon. And I feel great about them. I think that they're on the right track. And I think that within the next few years, they could probably have a Miss Universe winner. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep with that effort. Keep at it. Jamaica has had 9 placements. The last one was in 2020. They were in the top 10. And prior to that, in 2010, they were first runner-up. And I remember that year. It was a great year. And I remember loving Jamaica and immediately thinking this queen is going to be in the top 5. And this is before I really followed Miss Universe as I do now. And I didn't even watch the preliminary competition, but watching the finals, I was like, wow, she stands out. She's top 5. But you know, it is what it is. She got really close. She was first runner up. But I'm wondering if the reason that Jamaica recently hasn't been back in that top 5 or hasn't really gotten that title is the same reason that many of you mention when it comes to gowns for Miss USA. I see a lot of displeasure online in recent years because Miss USA was sponsored by Sherry Hill and everybody was mad about that and saying you need something different. And in recent years for Jamaica, it would seem, and I believe somebody else mentioned this to me before, that their evening gowns are by the same designer. I don't know how long this has been for, but this gown and the stoning of it has a very particular style, although the dresses in color and textures and silhouettes have been different, and there have been some really great gowns. I really liked Jamaica's gown in 2020. It was spectacular on stage. The moment she walked out, she was just this sparkling diamond, truly. Amazing dress choice for her. And in that moment, I didn't even recognize that gown looked similar to the rest of the Jamaica title holders, but when I look at their gowns on the telecast version, the gowns all look like they're from the same designer. So I'm kind of wondering, is it time to move on? Is it time to get a different designer? Switch it up. This could be it. The last country I'm going to mention may surprise you because it really surprised me. This country has had 16 Miss Universe placements, and many of them have not been within recent years, and that's why I think that we are forgetting them. Their last top 5 placement for all my super pageant fans that have been maybe following this long was in 1987 when Italy was first runner-up. Now, the most recent placement was in 2014, and they reached the top 15. And let's talk about 2021. I thought she was beautiful. I took notice of her. I had her in my pre-preliminary picks. 2021's Queen Katarina is a 23-year-old teacher, model, dancer, runway coach. And then I even thought that 2020's Queen, also beautiful, also has a lot of potential. Once again, didn't place. So here's a couple of issues that I think that they are facing. Number one, I don't know the culture of the country there in terms of their support for pageantry, but I don't feel like they're extremely supportive of their contestants. I'm not seeing Miss Italy posted everywhere leading up to Miss Universe by fans. And I think that is significant because if your country is not supportive, they're not hungry for a crown, then you're gonna have less resources going to Miss Universe. The second reason is inconsistencies with wardrobe, hair, and makeup. So when I looked, for example, at 2020's title holder, the gown was great. Would it be a gown that I would put one of my clients in for Miss Universe? No. If Philippines showed up in that gown, I felt like people would probably be confused. I also thought that regardless of how beautiful she is, there's differences between hair and makeup that we wear on stage at a pageant and hair and makeup that we wear in our everyday life. And so I think that they really need pageant, Miss Universe specifically, hair, and makeup. I think that that's where a lot of that prep needs to go in, but also the quality of the performance, really investing in the walk and putting on a real show. I feel like that's what they're missing. If you love the pageant history in this episode and looking back and following the Miss Universe competition, then I have 2 episodes for you that you should check out. The first one are the top 10 best red evening gowns from the past 5 years at Miss Universe. And also you should check out the most recent Miss Universe recap of the final show. I think that you're going to enjoy those too. Thanks for tuning into this episode.